The Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, are 8 international development goals that all 192 United Nations member states and at least 23 international organizations have agreed to achieve by the year 2015. They include eradicating of extreme poverty, reducing child mortality rates, fighting disease epidemics such as AIDS, and developing a global partnership for development. Addressing the special needs of vulnerable communities and people will help to protect their basic human rights and ensure that they benefit from progress made in attaining the MDGs. Special assistance is required to help the most vulnerable countries achieve more progress. In his presentation, the nation's leader said the failure to deliver the MDGs have left persons in these countries wondering if they were forgotten.
With less than 5 years to go before 2015, why have the commitments related to the most important global declaration made to the world's most vulnerable people not been fulfilled? Could it be that the globally agreed expectation that the Millennium Development Goals would spur action for poverty reduction, improvements in maternal and child mortality, education, gender and environmental sustainability remains just that, an expectation? Mr. President, distinguished delegates, despite the overwhelming evidence that progress to achieve the MDGs, when measured in terms of concrete milestones, are fragmented, I am not without hope that we as a community can deliver on these commitments.
He assured the gathering that the initiative was not dead, but he urged those involved to refocus their efforts and resources on its implementation. He added that this should be a top priority. He details the implications if the objectives are not attained by 2015.
If we do not do that, the MDGs could remain forever abandoned and lost in that graveyard of lost and failed commitments. Distinguished delegates, if, as many speakers before me have said, the MDGs are of critical importance to mankind, then it behoves us all to ensure that they simply do not wither on the proverbial vine and die an ignoble death. I believe that the goals represent human needs and basic rights that every individual on this planet should be able to enjoy.
He added that this is now a critical area that needs to be tackled with immediate action.
We know that developing countries, such as my own nation of Antigua and Barbuda, were told repeatedly that the MDGs are achievable when nationally owned development strategies, policies and programs are supported by international development partners. We have developed the national strategies, policies and programs. Sadly, the support from our international development partners are either slow in coming or has not come at all. We know that the MDGs were intended to improve the lives of the poor, but such improvements have been painfully slow, and any minuscule gains have been eroded by climate change, food security, and the global economic crises.
Addressing the needs of vulnerable people will involve strengthening national capacity to identify the most vulnerable in order to address their needs and protect their rights, establishing a social protection floor, and increasing access to education and decent work, and also the implementation of effective measures to combat all forms of discrimination and social exclusion. For ABS News, Elisa Graham reporting.